Hello students, in today's lecture we will learn system of particles and rotational motion theory. In today's lecture we will cover these topics. First is center of mass. Second is center of mass of two particle system. Third is center of mass of n particle system. Fourth is Cartesian components of the center of mass. Fifth, we will learn motion of center of mass. Sixth, momentum conservation. 7 is rigid bodies. Eighth is center of mass of some rigid bodies. Ninth is moment of inertia. 10th is radius of gyration. 11. Theorems on moment of inertia. 12th, we will learn theorem of parallel axis. And 13, we will learn theorem of perpendicular axis. 14. Moment of inertia of some geometrical objects. And last, we will learn some summary. So, these topics we will learn in today's lecture. Clear? Disclaimer: the images used in our slide deck are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of these images used in this deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. Topic is center of mass, chapter system of particles and rotational motion. So, what is center of mass? Question arises, what is center of mass? Center of mass of a system, or we can say a body, is a point that moves when external forces are applied on the body, as though all the mass were concentrated at that point and all external forces were applied there. So we can say, or we call center of mass. Clear? Next is center of mass of two particle system. So center of mass of two particle system consisting two particles having masses m1, m2 and respective position vectors r1, r2 is given by this. So this is the position, respective position of center of mass. So suppose this one, there is a two particles, this is particles m1 and particles m2, and the respective position of particle m1 having mass m1 and particles having mass m2 from the origin is r1 vector and r2 vector. This is the position of the respective masses. Clear? So the center of mass lies between here. So formula is RCM is equal to m1, this m1, r1, this mass of particle first, and this is their respective position, plus m2 mass of particle second, and r2 distance of particle second from the origin, divided by m1 plus m2. So from this formula we have to calculate the center of mass of the body of two particles. Particle first is this and particle second is this. So this is RCM is the center of mass. Clear? RCM is the center of mass of two particles. Particles having mass m1 and particles having mass m2. So second condition, if m1 and m2 both are same. Suppose this particle mass m and similarly for this particle mass m. In that case, the center of mass RCM is equal to R1 plus R2 divided by 2. Clear? This one. So this is the center of mass in case of when the mass is both m1 and m2 is equal to m. Clear? Next is center of mass of n particle system. In this slide, this is the center of mass of two particle system. There is a two particles having mass m1 and m2. Now we will learn center of mass of n particle system when particles are n. So center of mass of RCM particles system which consists of n particles of masses m1, m2 or mn. So this is the mass m1 for particle first, this is m2 for particle second, similarly so on the particles mass m1 for nth particle, which r1, r2 and rn as their position vectors as given instant of time. So in that case, the center of mass of n particle system we have to calculate from this formula. This one, RCM is equal to m1 r1 plus m2 r2 plus n rn divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3 plus mn, so on. So we have to write this in simple form. Summation I is equal to 1 to n. Here this is particle first to particle nth. m1 mass of first particle plus ri mass of first particle. So mi ri divided by m. So this is the center of mass of n particle system. mi ri divided by m. Here this is the summation for nth particle. I1 to n. Clear? Center of mass of n particle system. And this is the center of mass of two particle system. If we talk about the center of mass of three particle system, in that case there is a one more term is added, m1 m3 plus m3 r3 divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3. Clear? I we talked about the four particle system, then center of mass is m1 r1 plus m2 r2 m3 r3 plus m4 r4 divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3 plus m4. Clear? So same concept are follow here, the center of mass of n particle system. Next is Cartesian components of center of mass. So the position vectors axiom and ri are the related to their Cartesian components. Why? RCM is equal to xCM I cap plus yCM j cap plus zCM k cap. This is the position vector, this one. And we can say Ri is equal to xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. Clear? So this is the position vector and this is the their center of mass. Clear? This one is their center of mass. So the Cartesian components of RCM are given by this one. Axiom is equal to summation 1 particle 1 to n mi xi divided by m. For this is axiom. For ycm, similarly I 1 particle to nth particle my yi divided by m. And for zcm, I is equal to 1 to n mi zi divided by m. So this is the Cartesian components of RCM. X for x, this is for y, this is for z. Clear? This is the Cartesian components of center of mass. Next is motion of center of mass. So the position vector RCM of the center of mass n particle system is defined by this. RCM is equal to this m1 r1 plus m2 r2 plus m3 r3 plus mn rn. So this is the nth particle mass and this is the nth particle position divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3 plus mn. So this is the center of mass of n particle system. Clear? So RCM is equal to 1 by m m1 r1 plus m2 r2 plus m3 r3 plus m1 rn. We consider here this is m1 plus m2 plus m3 plus mn is equal to m, this one. Clear? So derivative of this RCM, drcm divided by dt with respect to time, now it becomes 1 by m m1 dr1 divided by dt plus m2 dr2 divided by dt plus mn dr by dt. So this is the derivative form. And the velocity of center of mass vcm, this is the position vector rcm, this one. And velocity is vcm is equal to 1 by m m1 v1, this is the v1, and this m2 v2, this is v2, and mn vn, this one. Clear? So this is the position, and the position derivative of this becomes velocity. So in simple form, vcm is equal to summation I to n, this is for one particle to nth particle, mi vi divided by m. Clear? So here main terms is, first is position, this one, and next is velocity. This is the position vector rcm center of mass of nth particle, and this is the velocity of mass vcm for nth particle. Clear? Next is similarly for acceleration. Similarly, acceleration of center of mass given by this one. ACM is equal to I 1 to n mf ai divided by. So this is the for acceleration. Clear? This is for acceleration. Clear? Motion of center of mass is here. Position, velocity, and acceleration. Clear? Next is from Newton's second law of motion. This one, m ACM is equal to F1 plus F2 plus Fn is equal to m ACM is equal to F external here. And for isolated system, if external force on the body is 0, F is equal to m ACM is equal to m d VCM divided by dt is equal to 0. So VCM is equal to constant. So that is center of mass of an isolated system moves with uniform velocity along a straight line path. Momentum remain conserved. So note, if some mass or area is removed from a rigid body, then the position of center of mass of remaining portion is obtained from following formula, and that formula is this: RCM is equal to m1 r1 minus m2 r2 divided by m1 minus m2, this one. Or we can write in another form, that is RCM is equal to a1 r1 minus a2 r2 divided by a1 minus a2. Clear? So this is the formula for remaining portion, position, center of mass. Clear? This one. Next is momentum conservation. Momentum conservation. So let us consider a system of particles of masses m1, m2 or mn. This is our respective velocities are v1, v2 and vn. The total linear momentum of system would be the vector sum of the momentum of individual particles. So this is the total linear momentum. This one, the system would be vector sum of, this is the vector sum of the momentum of individual particles. This is P is equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3 to Pn. This is the total linear momentum. Clear? This one, where P1 is m1 v1 and P2 is m2 v2. Similarly, Pn is mn vn. Mass into velocity for first particle. Similarly, mass into velocity for second particle, and mass into velocity for nth particle. Clear? Here m1 v1 is denotes the particles, first particle, second particle, or nth particle. And velocity of center of mass of the system VCM is equal to 1 upon m m1 v1 plus m2 v2 plus mn vn. So this is the mass for first particle and velocity of first particle. Similarly, mass of second particle and velocity of second particle. Mn, mass of nth particle and velocity of nth particle. So this is the velocity of center of mass of a system, this one, where m is the total mass of the system. Therefore, P is equal to m VCM. This one, momentum is equal to m VCM. This is the velocity of center of mass. Clear? Next is, thus total linear momentum of system of particles is equal to product of total mass of system and velocity is of its center of mass. We can read as this form: dp upon dt is equal to m dv upon dt. Clear? Mass into velocity, which is ma. Here dv upon dt is equal to a acceleration, so ma is equal to f external. When the f external is 0, then dp upon dt is equal to 0 and p's momentum is constant. This one. So if external force of a system is 0, then momentum of the system of particle remain constant. Clear? So this is the important concept. If external force F external is 0 of a system, then momentum of system, this momentum of the system of particle remain constant. And mathematically we can explain from this. Clear? Next is rigid bodies. A rigid body is defined as that a body which does not undergo any change in shape and volume when external forces are applied on it. When a force is applied on a rigid body, the distance between any two particles of the body will remain unchanged. However, the larger of the forces may be. Coordinates of the center of mass of a rigid body are this: xcm is equal to this one, 1 by m x dm, ycm is equal to 1 by m y dm, and zcm is equal to 1 by m multiply z dm. So this is the coordinate of center of mass of a rigid body. Clear? And this is the definition of rigid body. Next is center of mass of some rigid bodies. There is some rigid bodies and we will learn their center of mass. So first is, the center of mass of a uniform rod is located at its midpoint. This is the uniform rod and the center of mass of this rod is located at its midpoint. This one, this is the midpoint and this is the center of mass. Second is center of mass of a uniform rectangular, this one, rectangular square, this one, and a circular plate lies at its center, this one. The center of mass of this rectangular lie here. Similarly, here. Similarly, center of mass of square lie here, and the circular plate, this is the center of mass. Clear? Where whole mass of the body to be concentrated. Third is, center of mass of a uniform semicircular ring lies at a distance of h is equal to 2r divided by pi. Here, h is equal to 2r divided by pi. From its center on the axis of symmetry, where r is the radius of the ring. This is the uniform semicircular ring. Semicircular ring, and center of mass lies at height is equal to 2r divided by pi. Here this is the center of mass of the uniform semicircular ring. Clear? So first is uniform rod, second is rectangle, square and circular plate, and then uniform circular ring. Clear? Next is center of mass of a uniform semicircular disc of radius r lies at a distance height h is equal to 4r divided by 3 pi. So this is the from the center of the axis of symmetry as on the figure. This is the uniform semicircular disc and the center of mass having radius r lies at a distance h is equal to 4r divided by 3 pi. Here the center of mass is lies. Clear? Next is center of mass of a hemispherical cell of radius r lies at a distance h is equal to r by 2 from its center of axis of symmetry from the shown this figure. This is the hemispherical cell and center of mass lies at a distance r by 2. This is the r by 2 from its center of axis of symmetry. So center of mass lies here. Yeah. Clear? Next is center of mass of a solid hemisphere of radius r lies at a distance h is equal to 3r by 8. This one 3r by 8 from its center of axis of symmetry. Clear? This one as shown in the figure. This is the solid hemisphere and center of mass lies 3 and lies at a distance height h 3r by 8 from the center of axis of symmetry. So center of mass lies here. Clear? So here different bodies and their center of mass. First uniform rod, square, rectangle, plate, circular plate, and then uniform semicircular ring, semicircular disc, and then hemispherical cell, solid hemispherical. Clear? And their center of mass. Next is moment of inertia. Moment of inertia. Moment of inertia of a rotating body fits property to oppose any change in its state of uniform rotation. If in a given rotational system, particles of masses m1, m2, m3 be situated at normal distances r1, r2, r3 from the axis of rotation, then moment of inertia of the system about the axis of rotation is this: I equal to m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square plus m3 r3 square plus so on is equal to summation mr square. Clear? This is the moment of inertia. And for rigid body having continuous mass distribution, the moment of inertia I equal to integration dmr square. Clear? So this is the formulas. First is this one and second is this. And the SI unit of moment of inertia is kg meter square. It is neither a scalar nor a vector. It is a tensor. Clear? It is a tensor. Next is radius of gyration. Radius of gyration of a given body about a given axis of rotation is the normal distance of point from its axis, where if whole mass of the body is placed, then its moment of inertia will be exactly same as it has with actual distribution of mass, thus the radius of gyration. So k equal to under root I divided by m, or we can say k equal to r1 square plus r2 square plus r3 square plus rn square divided by n and whole power 1 by 2. And suppose the whole body, and this is the axis of rotation, and mass is m1 and their respective position r1, similarly m2 r2, m3 r3 and m4 r4. Clear? And the axis of rotation is this one. So SI unit of radius of gyration is meter, and radius of gyration depends upon the shape and size of the body, position and configuration of the axis of rotation, and also distribution of mass of body with respect to axis of rotation. Next is theorems of moment of inertia. There are two theorems based on moment of inertia given below. First is theorem of parallel axis, second is theorem of perpendicular axis. So theorem of parallel axis. Moment of inertia of a body about a given axis I is equal to the sum of moment of inertia of a body about the parallel axis passing through its center of mass ICM. And the product of mass of body m and square of normal distance between two axes mathematically can be explained I equal to ICM plus MD square. This one. Clear? So this is the theorem of perpendicular axis. Next is theorem of perpendicular x-axis, some important terms. The sum of moment of inertia of plane laminar body about the two mutually perpendicular axes lying in its plane is equal to its moment of inertia about an axis passing through the point of intersection of these two axes are perpendicular to the plane laminar body. This is the planar body and this is their axis. If ix and iy be moment of inertia of the body about two perpendicular axes in its own plane and iz be the moment of inertia about the axis of passing through point O and perpendicular to the plane of lamina, then iz is equal to ix plus iy. This is the important condition. In theorem of perpendicular axes, the point of intersection and three axes x, y and z may be any point of the plane. Clear? Next is moment of inertia of some geometrical objects. Here are some geometrical objects. First is uniform ring of mass m and radius r. About an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to the plane of ring, I is equal to mr square. And about a diameter, I equal to half mr square. This one. And uniform circular disk of mass m and radius r. About an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to the plane of disk, I is equal to mr square. And about a diameter, I equal to 1/4 mr square. So this is the moment of inertia of some geometrical objects. Next is thin uniform rod of mass m and length l. About an axis passing through its center and perpendicular to the rod, I equal to ml square by 12. This one. Clear? Next is uniform solid cylinder of mass m and length l of radius I. About its own axis, I equal to half mr square. And about an axis passing through its center and perpendicular to its length, I equal to m multiplied by l square divided by 12 plus h square by 4. This one. And for uniform solid sphere, about its diameter, I equal to 2/5 mr square. And about its tangent, I is equal to 7/5 mr square. So this is the moment of inertia of some geometrical objects. Clear? First we learn uniform ring and mass m and radius r. Second for circular disc. Then uniform rod. And then solid cylinder. And then uniform solid sphere. Clear? Next summary. So we learned first is center of mass. The point where the mass of system is concentrated, representing the average position of the mass. Second is center of mass of two particle system. For two particles, the center of mass can be calculated using their positions and masses located closer to the more massive particles. Third is center of mass of n particle system. For multiple particles, the center of mass is determined by the weight average of their positions considering all masses. Fourth is Cartesian components of the center of mass. The center of mass can be expressed in Cartesian coordinates x, y, z by averaging the position of all particles based on their masses. Fifth is motion of center of mass. The center of mass moves as if all external forces act on it. It follows Newton's law of motion. Sixth is momentum conservation. In a closed system, the total momentum remains constant, which implies the center of mass moves at a constant velocity if no external forces act. Seventh is rigid bodies. Objects with a fixed shape and size where the distance between any 2 points remain constant, allowing simplified analysis of motion. Eighth is center of mass of some rigid bodies. The center of mass of some common shapes like spheres, cylinders, and cubes can be found using symmetry. And ninth, we learn a measure of distance. Ninth, we learn moment of inertia, a measure of an object's resistance to rotation of motion, calculated as the sum of products of mass and square of the distance from its axis of rotation. Clear? So these are the important terms. 10th, we learn radius of gyration, the distance from its axis of rotation at which the mass of a body can be concentrated without changing its moment of inertia. 11th, theorems of moment of inertia, key principles that relate the moment of inertia of complex shapes to simpler shapes. 12th is theorem of perpendicular axis, states that the moment of inertia about any axis parallel to an axis through the center of mass can be calculated by adding the product of mass and square of the distance between the axes. 13 is theorem of perpendicular axis. It states that moment of inertia of a planar object about an axis perpendicular to its plane, the sum of its moment of inertia about two orthogonal axes of plane. And last, moment of inertia of some geometrical objects. Specific calculation for standard shapes like discs, spheres, rods, providing useful reference values. Clear? So these are the important terms and formulas and theories we learned in today's lecture. And these are the important terms. Clear? These 14 terms are very important. Clear? Thank you.